Hello everyone. In this video, we will discuss the various environmental critical projects and the environmental critical areas as provided by law. Understanding this proclamation is essential for environmental planners, project proponents, practitioners, and government regulators because it determines when environmental impact assessment is required. The Environmental Impact Statement System in the Philippines was established under Presidential Decree 1586 in 1978. However, the decree itself did not specify which projects or areas should be considered environmentally critical. To implement this system, Presidential Proclamation 2146 was issued in 1981. This proclamation identifies the specific project and areas that require environmental impact assessment before they can proceed. The main purpose of this proclamation is to classify two important categories. First are environmentally critical projects, which are projects that have a high potential to cause environmental damage. Second are environmentally critical areas, which are locations that are environmentally sensitive. If a project falls under either category, environmental assessment is usually required before the project can be implemented. Environmentally critical projects are those that have a high likelihood of causing significant environmental impacts. These projects typically involve large-scale industrial activities, infrastructure development, or extraction of natural resources. Because of their potential environmental risk, these projects must undergo environmental review before approval. One category of environmentally critical projects involves heavy industrial development. Examples include oil refineries, petrochemical plants, iron and steel mills, and other major industrial facilities. These industries involve complex processes and potentially hazardous materials which may pose risk to air, water, and land resources. Another category involves industries that extract natural resources from the environment. Mining, logging, and large-scale quarrying activities can significantly alter landscapes, affect ecosystems, and impact nearby communities. Because of these impacts, environmental review is necessary before these projects proceed. Major environmental projects are also included among environmentally critical projects. Large dams, highways, bridges, and reclamation activities can significantly change land use patterns and natural ecosystems. Environmental impact assessment helps identify potential risk and mitigation measures before construction begins. In addition to critical projects, the proclamation also identifies environmentally critical areas. These are locations that are particularly sensitive to environmental disturbance. Even if a project itself is not large or industrial, it may still require environmental review if it is located in one of these sensitive areas. Now that we understand what environmentally critical projects and environmentally critical areas are, we can now summarize the rule used in the environmental impact statement system. The decision rule is actually very simple. First, if the project is classified as an environmentally critical project, it automatically requires an Environmental Compliance Certificate or ECC regardless of its location. Second, even if the project itself is not environmentally critical, it will still require an environmental review if it is located within an environmentally critical area. This means that both the nature of the project and the location of the project are considered in determining whether environmental assessment is required. Let us now apply the decision rule using this screening matrix. This matrix shows how regulators determine whether a project must secure an Environmental Compliance Certificate or ECC, or whether it may instead be issued a Certificate of Non-Coverage or CNC. The first factor considered is the type of project. Is the project an environmentally critical project or a non-critical project? The second factor is the location of the project. Is the project located within an environmentally critical area or outside such areas? If the project is classified as an environmentally critical project, an environmental compliance certificate is required regardless of whether it is located inside or outside an environmentally critical area. If the project is not environmentally critical, but it is located within an environmentally critical area, environmental review is still required, and the project must secure an environmental compliance certificate or ECC. However, if the project is not environmentally critical and it is located outside environmentally critical areas, the project may be issued a certificate of non-coverage instead of an environmental compliance certificate. This screening process helps the government determine the appropriate level of environmental assessment before a project can proceed. You may ask why the proclamation is important. Presidential Proclamation 2146 plays a key role in the implementation of the environmental impact statement system. It helps the government agencies determine whether a project must undergo environmental assessment and whether an environmental compliance certificate must be secured before implementation. This ensures that development projects consider environmental protection and sustainability. Sustainable development requires balancing development and environmental protection. Through environmental impact assessment, potential environmental effects are identified and addressed before projects are implemented. Environmental impact assessment helps achieve this balance. Following Presidential Proclamation 2146 as regards to environmentally critical projects and environmentally critical areas. Thank you for watching.